people were impressed with Damian Priest and how he came out and handled himself. First of all, I would like to say major upgrade to his entrance music, because boy, oh boy, was that old music that he got where he was like, "Oh, rise," like a million times during the song. Horrific. Absolutely terrible. This is great. He's got the guitarist from Slayer in the song. So like great move.
Slayer slaps. I love
So
Slayer. They're good.
yeah, so he definitely held his own. I guess if you would like to go on a complimenting spree for Damian, you can do so now, because I'm gonna go on a rant about Gunther. So
Oh, okay. No, I like this promo by Damian. I loved how he came out and pretty much just went full 8 Mile on Gunther. He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna call me street trash. You're gonna call me this. I don't care. All right." That legitimized him in a way. Like he said what he said before, and if it wasn't for Judgment Day at SummerSlam, you wouldn't be champion. Which he's got a point at this point. All right, so I like how he brought that up. This is the time where they need to have, like, Damian needs to have a coming out match against Gunther, and he doesn't have to win. That's not what I mean by coming out. Is he's not going to win. This needs to be a standalone performance where it just solidifies him more as a main eventer. He already has solidified himself as a main eventer on Raw. I'm a big fan of Priest. You know, if it wasn't for the way things are in WWE right now, then yeah, I would be totally fine with him as champion. But that also says that I want to see him be a champion in the future. Like, he has it. I don't really. I'm not gonna go on and on about, but he just has it. Everything that we've been saying that we want to see from him, he has it. He's shown it already. Now I want to see it. He's moving on from Finn. Fucking finally. So
yeah, they can't have any member of the Judgment Day interfere. This needs to just be like a Gunther Damian Priest match. Damian loses, but cleanly. Like, there can't be any sort of shenanigans going on, because otherwise the door stays open for this to keep going. And there's not, I mean, this whole situation between Gunther and Damian wasn't a real feud to begin with. It was only because Gunther won King of the Ring that gave him a title match against Damian at SummerSlam. So it's like, this isn't this deep rooted rivalry that needs to keep going. It makes sense for Damian to get a rematch, of course, because of how he lost the title and whatever. But I think that this needs to be like a one and done, and then we just need to see Gunther do something else. I would love for him to get involved in like an actual feud. Like, I've said that before. Like, I don't know. He doesn't really have anybody right now that he could do that with. Like, you could say Ilya, but Ilya's out. Like, yeah, Punk had been rumored to be going after the world heavyweight title, but there's not real bad blood there. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of the options that he would have, he doesn't have at his disposal right now. So it'll be interesting to see how they like build him up, you know, in the months between Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble.
I want to bring this point up that Dickie said, because I have this question for
Oh
you.
yeah, no, I was just gonna get there.
Boom.
I was gonna ask you about that because I don't like it.
Oh.
Okay, but the reason why, that's why I said, do you not read the banners? Gunther looks like a scaredy cat. That's the whole point. I didn't like.
I didn't look at. I usually do. I didn't look at the banners this week. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so I was not. I don't like this ever, though. It's not just because it's to Damian Priest, because I've told you I agreed with, I forget who it was. It might be like, oh, who was it? Somebody in wrestling that I don't even know if people like them, but I actually agreed with what they said about this. And this was months ago, maybe a year ago, when they were saying that the best way that you could go about building up Gunther is to make him like Drago from Rocky. Like, if he dies, he dies. Like, do that type of shit.
Who said this? Because I heard this too. I heard this too.
I know. no, I can't
I'm gonna
remember.
find it. Keep going.
Okay. That is how I think that they should have gone about with Imperium. I said that so many times because the way that they had the group, basically being anything but successful outside of Gunther, I hated that. And so I don't love that we're seeing him question himself or look fearful or like having Kaiser continuously like fight his battles. I don't like him doubting himself. Like I totally get what people are saying where it's like, "Oh, this is a good character arc. It's making him look more human. It's making him look a little bit more um beatable because so many people have an issue with him being a champion potentially till Mania or beyond that. So, in that regard, sure, guys, if that's what you want, by all means. I just really want to see him be that type of guy that like doesn't think he's going to lose, and it's because he's not going to lose. That was the attitude that we got from Roman Reigns, and I get Roman got to that point because I don't know, he was champion for almost 4 years and Gunther just past 100 days, so I'm not trying to compare them, but I just want to see a bit more of that kind of attitude from Gunther. I don't love the like, oh, like kind of looking at him with wide eyes and being like, leaving the ring because he's nervous. Like, I didn't love that. I know that I'm gonna be a minority,
You are. I'm
um,
sorry.
but
Yeah.
it's just because I want to see the Drago type of dude from him. Like, I
'Cause you
want that so badly.
It's because you love him. I get it.
Yeah,
You
but I
don't
think
want to
he
see the people you love go through this type of doubting phase. I love it for Gunther because before he lost to Cody at Crown Jewel, he was steamrolling through everybody, as he should. And when you're at the top of your game and you get knocked off a little bit, like this loss to Cody is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. But because Gunther lost, he's doubting himself. It brings the human side to this character to light, which a lot of people didn't think we'd ever see. There's still time to go back to Drago and him be that cold, just black hearted killer in the squared circle. But for right now, you need to give Damian Priest or any next opponent some sort of hope that they could take down Gunther. And this is just that hope manifested in front of our eyes. I'm a big fan of it, especially
I
with the Kaiser shit too, because Kaiser's getting like, you don't say that to him, and Gunther's like, stop saying it. Like he's even like getting there, because then that could start something. And I'm not saying a breakup, but they could start like a little bit more substance to just him,
yeah.
looking at him funny and not defending him because not knocked out, but knocked down Kaiser, and Gunther didn't do shit.
Mhm.
So like that's like there's so much there that you want to see and you're interested in, which before, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it, but I also and like I get your point, but I think that it's not hitting the way that you're saying it simply because I would not put Damian Priest anywhere in the same stratosphere as Cody Rhodes. However, what you're saying
No, but
makes sense
yeah.
that he's still a little bit like no, uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's a little bit off his game because it's like, oh, I just lost. Like this is the first time I've lost since Mania, whatever. Like I get that.
I don't lose, I'm
Um,
Gunther.
yeah. So I just want to see.
Basically.
I want to see more of that moving forward. Like if this is just like a speed bump or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's cool, but
Keeps you
um,
interested. Keeps
yeah.
you invested. For sure.
Um, okay. Do you want to get to some comments before we move
Yeah, I saw
on?
the 9
Just
comments here.
careful of some of the.
Um oh, I'm scanning them. I can't. This why again, if you guys know anyone who wants to get involved in this shit and help out and, be a producer, cut some clips for us, let us know. We're open to it because as we grow, we need more people to grow it. Oh, tough. I did. Now I know what you mean, Sarah.
Mhm.
That's hilarious. Gunther was drag out for years. We can't add more layers to Gunther. That's what I mean. At some point the
I
shell
think you
needs to
can
crack.
on the main roster. There's not a lot of people who watch Raw and SmackDown weekly that are familiar with him from NXT UK. So not many people know about Walter.